Getting ready to right now. If we're camera on.
Yep.
All right, no mercy down the east side. All right, here we go. Welcome. Good morning. How's everybody? October 12th, 2019, 10:05 a.m. I call this meeting to order. And with that, who wants to do the invocation?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Father, in the name of Jesus, thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for your mercy. I pray for each and every one this morning. And I pray for this meeting, help us, Lord, to make productive decisions for our people. We give you all praise, Lord, and honor for the good things you have blessed us with. And we thank you for last weekend, Lord, for the true celebration, those countries, so many people that came to and told me that they had a good time. Thank you for that, Lord. And I should be praised, Lord, and honor, Lord, for what you're about to do for our people in the days to come. And I pray for each and every one of us, Lord, in the days to come, that we would all think about the pride as a whole. And there may be people out there, Lord, that didn't come. Father, we give you praise, Lord, and we thank you, Jesus.
One time before we had this occurrence where Councilor Sachs acted as secretary, we had a motion made and seconded to do that. We're going to go do that again.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, the motion's been made by Elmeg, second, Doug, Frankie, for Eddie to act as secretary until the secretary gets here.
You need clerk. That's all, on one side.
How do you know? All right.
We've got a motion by Elmay, second by Frankie for the Honorable Mr. Sachs to act as secretary.
Excellent. On, Mr. Sachs.
Larry, she's called.
Oh.
All right, Mr. Thompson?
Here.
This is.
No, this.
Are you voting or?
Yeah.
Taking a vote before we.
Oh, they said it's on roll.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Ms. Locke's absent, Ms. Worley,
Yes.
Ms. Tidwell,
Yes.
Smith, absent. Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Benoit?
Yes.
Ms. Garrity?
Yes.
Mr. Smoke? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. McCutcheon?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna take roll. Chief Bunch?
Here.
Jamie Thompson?
Here.
Joyce Hawk? Absent. Elmay Worley?
Here.
Jean Tidwell?
Here.
Diane Smith? Frankie Steele?
Here.
Sharon Benoit?
Here.
Peggy Garrity?
Here.
Charles Smoke? Barry Dodson?
Yeah.
Jeff McCutcheon?
Here.
We have quorum, we have two absent, we have quorum.
All right, thank you for that. Moving right along now, one of the items that's coming up, that may come up, the interim director of natural resources, wants to have a executive session early so she can announce and discuss the possibility of a director of environmental services. So when she comes in, I do not see her in the audience at this point, so when she comes in, we may ask for that to go. You also have one other item I'd like to discuss in executive session, probably won't take longer than 30, 45 minutes to do so, if that's okay. having said that, I'm gonna move on to item number 4, the address to the council, the chief's address to the council. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. And I also want to thank the celebration committee, the employees, the council, and volunteers for their work on our past celebration. It was a success. Thank each and every one of you. I want to thank the sponsors, the few that I'm aware of is J.D. Young, Northeastern State, and everyone else for their contributions as well. September 5th, 2019 was a historical day for us. That day, the 10th Circuit Court, and I know everybody was, as well as myself, I was getting tired of saying, well, this is the 16th month and still no word about.
I'd like to make a comment about the meeting or the celebration. I think it was very nice. A lot of people attended.
Yes.
The food was satisfactory. It was nice. It was well cooked. And one comment I wanted to make was about Mr. John Hare. John Hare sat over there by himself. Just about the whole thing. It's not getting the recognition that he needs to have. We need to set up some kind of a meeting or something to celebrate his existence. John saved this tribe from going down the drain, I think we all know that. But anyway, I just wanted to make that comment.
All right, thank you. No doubt, you said it well. No doubt, the plans are being made to do so. With that, an audio tape, and that sort of thing with him and his history as far as the instrumental. Back to the wall, the tribe had no money whatsoever to wanted to, as you well know, at that time, the council was predominantly highly religious and preachers sitting on it. And at that point, he went to the council and got the approval to start a paper bingo operation. And that's where we were 28 years in existence with our casino and that operation.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind what he saved that tribe. No doubt.
He used his own monies and doing stuff, exactly. Well, thank you for that.
I have one thing on celebration, if I can speak for just a second. Everybody also, from what I gathered, everybody, the information that I got back, everybody had a really good time and they were really impressed with the amount of people that were here. I only had one complaint, and that was the colors for the veterans. We only had one veteran that was there, and there was concern that there should be more.
Posting in the colors, is that what it
Yes,
is?
yes, absolutely.
I was there, but I was unable to get up.
Yeah. Yeah, but we just had the one gentleman, and bless his heart for doing it alone. Nobody was there, but
Okay. One of the things we really need to look at as a council is to come together and set aside a little bit of resources for that. Sometimes veterans have been phenomenal with volunteering.
yeah.
But sometimes, gas, the price of gas, the price of food, and that big is alarming. So we need to set aside
Yeah.
some resources for
That would be
that.
very good.
With that, the instrumental decision, removal of the injunction. Now, what that meant was, of course, was just that, removal of the injunction, Secretary of the Interior takes the hand of the trust, process is doing more serious than that. It wasn't going to happen overnight. And the thing was that what we anticipated was an automatic, the end of the process, so to speak. But no, it wasn't, because the CNO had filed the injunction prior to the announcement in the Federal Register in 2011. Therefore, the process itself now is last Friday, October 4th, they filed in the Federal Register and so on, public notice that their intent to take land in trust. Now, that ends 22 days from today, providing and that's up to everybody in the community and at large to voice their opinion regarding that. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we will be 22 days from today.
Clint,
Yes.
can you give us a little input on that?
Yeah.
The public kind of knows what's going on.
Are we broadcasting?
No.
The BIA has told us they're not going to take the land into trust until after the mandate issues from the 10th Circuit, which is what makes everything final. But CNO has until the 21st to ask for reconsideration from the full 10th Circuit. And if they do that, the mandate won't issue until that's all resolved, which I'm sure they will do that. And so the land won't be taken into trust until the 10th Circuit decides not to reconsider it and then issues the mandate. Normally, the mandate would issue, I think, the 28th of October, but it will delay it a little bit when CNO files a motion for reconsideration. So it'll be, it could be sometime in November, depending on how fast the 10th Circuit moves. And, but we expect the BIA to take the land into trust as soon as the mandate issues from the 10th Circuit. And it's always possible the 10th Circuit could rehear it. I doubt they will. It was a unanimous 3-judge panel. There's a pretty straightforward decision. I can't see the 10th Circuit reconsidering it,
So
but
they won't be able to actually, I mean, all they're asking for a reconsideration, they won't be able to go in and argue anything else as far as.
no, the way it works is they file a motion for reconsideration. The 10th Circuit, we don't file anything.
Yeah.
The federal government doesn't file anything unless we're asked to. And the only reason we would be asked to, if one of the judges on the 10th Circuit wanted to take what's called a poll, and that's when all the judges give their input on whether to reconsider it or not. If they do that, then they may ask us for briefs on whether it should be reconsidered. I think it's unlikely that the 10th Circuit will even do that. I think they'll probably just deny the motion for reconsideration. And then as soon as they do that, the mandate should issue shortly thereafter. BIA will take the land into trust. Now, CNO could still try to go to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court doesn't automatically take appeals. They only take about 3% of all the cases that are sought to be reviewed by the Supreme Court. Here, there's no circuit split, which is one of the things they look at to review a case. It's just one tribal issue specific to Oklahoma. So I think it's also unlikely that the Supreme Court would hear it, but that process would probably take 3 or 4 months. There's no reason for the mandate not to issue in that time period, and the land be taken into trust while the Supreme Court is considering whether to hear it. So it shouldn't slow us down. But the other thing CNO could do is ask for a stay to kind of put the injunction back into place. I think that's unlikely to be granted as well. But these are all possibilities that CNO could ask for that the courts could do, but I don't think it's very likely that they will.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Yes.
So while all this is going on, what do we, as a tribe, where do we stand? I mean, are we just sitting here?
We're in waiting mode.
So there's nothing that, we can't do anything as far as, so we're just sitting here just waiting on people to.
Yeah, and the chief's right that notice was published back in 2010, 2011 about your casino property. But CNO sued and got an injunction on this property before the notice was published, which is why BIA has had to go back and publish notice about this property. Technically, that opens it up for someone to file an objection or try to take us to the IBIA. But the purpose of that is to resolve things administratively before going to federal court. We've already been to federal court here, so it doesn't make any sense for CNO to get to object and go to the IBIA administratively when they've already been all the way to the 10th Circuit. So if CNO tries to do something about the notice, we think the secretary will just take the land into trust herself, because if she does that, then they can't delay things by going to the IBIA and everything. If the region does it, they can try, but we think we can get the secretary to just make the decision to avoid all of that.
I got a question.
Yes.
You mentioned our casino property there. Based on what just happened in the 10th, and we know it's still sitting up there in the northern district, is there any way that, and it was, both properties were taken into the trust using the section, you know, the IWA, same
Yes.
method is what I'm trying to say. Is there any way we could file for a status hearing or something to find out what holdup is? That's been 5 years.
Yeah, well, we know what the holdup is. Brazil is just waiting to see what the 10th Circuit said. Now the 10th Circuit has said that. So we could ask for a status hearing and say what it is, but I don't think he's gonna do anything until it's all final. Once the mandate issues, then it's the time to go to Brazil and say, hey, so, and what CNO is gonna do is they're gonna try to tell Brazil, oh, this property's different. It's gaming, they'll think of any way they can to say your casino property is different than this property, which it shouldn't matter, it's not different at all, but CNO is gonna try to claim there's some differences, and so that land shouldn't be taken into trust, even though this land gets taken into trust. So that's what we'll be up against with Brazil.
Thank you.
Now, when you mentioned mandate, now that's a court order saying it's finished, it's over.
Yes, that's exactly right. And even though the decision has been entered, it's not final until the mandate issues. It's like an order to the district court to say, close the case, this is over.
And that's after the 21st.
Right, so unfortunately, BIA won't take the land into trust until the mandate issues, and CNO is gonna file a motion for reconsideration before the mandate issues, because they have to do that on the 21st. So that'll probably delay the mandate issuing by, it could be a month, it could be 3 or 4 months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, getting back to this, just a couple more things. October 17th, luncheon, if you have an open invitation to the council, it's from Mike Klinger with the Attorney General's office in Oklahoma Attorney General, so if you plan on attending, visit with the Attorney General here and sign up for that, for the council to go to that. That'll be Oklahoma City, October 17th. 12 o'clock, it'll be a lunch and noon meeting, so you gotta RSVP. October 21st and 22nd, meeting with the Museum Preservation. Please make plans to attend. It's in your packet. I don't know whether it's, I thought it was preservation, but it maybe have to do with first responders and things of that nature, as well, how to handle archives and things of that nature, so please plan to attend. We received notification that our SORNA grant, we've got a $97,000 SORNA grant, and that's Sex Offender Registry Act for our operation. The officers met with an accountant firm out of Stillwell, Mike Green, who's soliciting or asking for bids for 2018 audit year. And at the same token, we were notified that this week, Bailey was supposed to hire a senior accountant to review our 2017. So that's where we're at there with that. I'm going to ask for a deadline once he gets his feet on the ground and looks at that and see where we're at. At the end of the day, I'll shoot you some grant opportunities. He asked what can we do in the meantime. We're going to move forward. We're moving forward and trying to expand the services that we have. We just had a river game involvement that came up. We got $100,000 for to run one of the programs that we have in natural resources. The other part of it is there's a special diabetes programs, dollars out there that we want to look at and visit with that, and on and on and on. There was one grant in particular for hospitals and things of this nature for Indian country. It was about $1 million grant, so we were going to take a close look at that. But that's what we want to do is expand the services for tribal membership. So that's what we're doing in the meantime. I know you've asked for executive session. Do you want to speak now, or do you want to wait for a little while? Is your client here, Ellen, or your?
No,
No, I didn't ask her to come because I didn't want her to be here and be disappointed if you guys for some reason decided not to hire her. But I do need executive session because I have a copy of her resume for everybody and I want to go through that a little bit.
Okay, council, if you'll entertain that, we can move that forward to now and take care of that and move forward if you want. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Second.
Okay.
Was this the only thing that was gonna be in executive session anyway?
Yes, well, I had a piece of it now. We've already went over a piece of it. I may take about 10 minutes to cover an item along with that.
Yes.
The land and trust issue.
So what are the chances of us going to another executive session if we run into some issues that need to be talked about?
We can't, we'll
Yeah,
do that
yeah,
if the
I-
council agrees with it. Okay? Okay, we've got a motion made and seconded. We'll put a time limit on it of 30 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, very, very soon.
With LD and the AG, okay. So are you listening to the OD game right now? It doesn't start till 11, right?
Kick off at 11.
Your cell phone? Huh? All right.
They kick off at 11.
Okay.
Okay, council, we have a motion to enter executive session. A motion by Elmay, a second by Barry. I will call for vote to enter. Eddie? Jeannie?
Yes.
Elmay?
Yes.
Natalie is absent. Frankie?
Yes.
Sharon? Yes. I vote yes. Peggy?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Charles? Barry?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, at time, council, we are in executive session.
10:27.
Okay, the time will be 10:30.
Yeah.
Okay, council,